Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, men's soccer secures the Big Ten title. We'll give you all the details on the Hoosiers' big win at home.
And basketball is back in Bloomington. Men's and women's basketball kicked off their seasons with 2 exhibition games in Assembly Hall. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Olivia Stone.
And I'm William Stewart. Olivia, there's a whole bunch of home games this weekend, football, basketball, soccer. Which ones are you going to try and make it to?
Well, Indiana men's basketball is back, so you'll see me at Assembly Hall.
For sure.
Despite the rocky start to the Big Ten season, the Indiana men's soccer team pulled off a share of the Big Ten title. Our Josh Pose has more.
Say there are 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Indiana men's soccer winning the Big Ten championship. That same holds true today as Indiana defeated Rutgers 4-1 to clinch a share of the Big Ten title. Indiana went into decision day needing a miracle, with Michigan and Northwestern being ahead of them in the standings. But Indiana got going quickly with a goal from Hugo Bacharach in the early going to give the Hoosiers a 1-0 lead.
Well, the coaches always tell us to be relentless in the box, to find the sniffers, and I guess I was in the right place at the right time. And when I saw the ball going in, I was the happiest guy in the world.
Indiana wasn't done there, and Collins Oduru put home a rebound off a Mulun Gumbale shot to put the Hoosiers ahead 2-0. But Rutgers struck back in the final minute of the first half, making it a 2-1 advantage at halftime. We
were aware at halftime of the other scores, but we knew that all we had to do is, not overthink what other guys were doing. Just focus on our match, and everything else would take care of itself, and it did.
In a very physical second half, Indiana got 2 more goals thanks to Patrick McDonald and Sam Sarver to seal the deal. And with a Penn State draw and a Northwestern loss, when the final whistle blew, Indiana found out they were Big Ten co-champions, earning the #1 overall seed in the Big Ten tournament.
It's just fun to see the reaction of the guys and just to celebrate with family. And this will be a home. Titles are different. They're in your memory. Definitely going to have a lot of great memories from today.
Indiana clinches the #1 overall seed in the Big Ten tournament and will host Wisconsin on Friday night. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Josh Pose.
The Hoosiers are a #1 seed in the Big Ten tournament and take on Wisconsin this Friday at Bill Armstrong Stadium in the quarterfinal round of the Big Ten tournament.
Indiana football dropped its 4th consecutive game in heartbreaking fashion as the Penn State Nittany Lions took down the Hoosiers in State College. This was arguably the best Indiana has looked all season long as they went toe-to-toe with a top 10 team in the nation. Quarterback Brendan Sorsby put up an impressive 268-yard and 3-touchdown performance, including the season-long 90-yard touchdown to Dikise Carter. Ultimately, a few costly turnovers and plays on special teams allowed Penn State to hang around as they pulled away with a long touchdown late in the 4th quarter and the win.
All right, I'm just want to just say how proud I am of our players and how hard they played this past weekend, and prepared well and fought their tails off, and just got to continue to finish, stay the course, and keep getting better.
Indiana volleyball traveled to Evanston on Sunday to face off against Northwestern. The Hoosiers lost a tight 5-set match, tying the series record at 39 apiece. The Wildcats started off strong, taking the first set before losing the second and third. The Hoosiers weren't able to hold the lead, falling short in the 5th. Despite the loss, Canadell Alonzo Corselis and Kaylee Ramelsberg combined for 31 kills, and Cameron Hayworth added 5 serving aces. Additionally, Hayworth secured her 3rd Big Ten Setter of the Week honors for the season. Indiana is set to face off against Rutgers in Piscataway on Friday before heading to Columbus to visit Ohio State.
And the field hockey team had their last game of the season on Sunday against Kent State. Our beat reporter Abby Namella has more details on the game.
On this Halloween weekend, Indiana ended their regular season with a bang, beating Kent State 3-2 in overtime. From the beginning, you could tell this was going to be a close game. The Hoosiers came out strong, scoring a goal in the first 45 seconds of the game, but Kent State quickly responded by getting a corner and executing it to tie the score 1-1. Both teams went quiet in the second quarter with no additional goals scored before half. Entering the third quarter, Indiana's defense dominated with big step-ups. However, Kent State was able to sneak by with a goal, putting the Golden Flashes up 2-1. Keeping their heads up, Indiana fought their way back and ended up scoring another goal to tie the game 2-2 right before the fourth quarter started. With 2 minutes left in overtime, Hoosier Emma Thompson scored her first collegiate goal of the season to end the game 3-2. Indiana ended their season 6-13. This team has a lot of grit and determination, so there is no doubt that they will not come back stronger next season. Abby Namella, IUSTV Sports.
Coming up after the break, we crown this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And we give you some key takeaways from basketball's opening games. You're watching Hoosier Sports Nite. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Nite.
Joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is IUSTV sports reporter Ryan Canfield. Ryan?
Hey Hoosier Nation, it's Ryan Canfield here with this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week. This week's Hoosier Highlight is IU men's soccer defender Hugo Bacharach. Bacharach got IU's historic performance on Sunday, started with the first of 4 IU goals. He also assisted the 4th goal of the game, scored by Sam Sarver. You can see Hugo and the Big Ten champion Hoosiers this Friday as IU men's soccer continues the quest for 9 in the opening round of the Big Ten tournament this Friday at Bill Armstrong Stadium against Wisconsin. That's all for this week's Hoosier Highlight. Back to you guys at the desk.
IU men's basketball season tipped off at home with an exhibition match against the University of Indianapolis. Our Josh Bodie has the scoop.
Indiana got the win in their first exhibition game against Indianapolis 74-52, but it was dicey in the first half, with the Hoosiers going into break trailing the D2 team.
Thought we were a little tight, man. Guys not really familiar the first time, playing in front of a crowd. And I'm not using that as an excuse. How we missed so many layups around our bigs around the rim, and then we couldn't make free throws.
That first half that we played was probably the best thing that could have happened to us coming out as our first game. Knowing that we need to play basketball to the best of our ability against everybody. We need to play as hard as we can against everybody.
One point of emphasis for this year's team is getting out in transition. IU put up 28 fast break points this afternoon.
Our bigs can push it, but whoever's pushing it, we have to get ahead of the ball and then make the passes up the floor. I just don't want to live in a half-court game this season, and I think we got enough talent out there that guys can, make plays. I don't put a lot of emphasis on it. If we got them, you got to take them. I'm not telling guys to pass up the three-point shot.
Assembly Hall, I'm Josh Bodie, IUSTV Sports.
The preseason schedule wraps up on Friday with another exhibition against Marion. The regular season begins on Tuesday against Florida Gulf Coast.
An Indiana cross country traveled to Madison, Wisconsin to compete in the Big Ten Cross Country Championships this past weekend. Men's cross country finished in 8th place as a group, as graduate student Austin Haskett and sophomore Abe Ekman both finished in the top 25 in the men's 8K race. Austin Hackett finished 22nd with just a time over 25 minutes, and Abe Ekman finished 24th just 2 seconds after. The women's cross-country team finished in 11th place as a group, as freshman star Lily Myers finished with a team high in 54th with a time of 22 minutes, 32 seconds. Senior Phoebe Bates finished right after in 56th place with a time of 22 minutes and 34 seconds. Indiana will compete in the NCAA Great Lakes Regional starting next Friday at 12:30 p.m.
Indiana women's basketball got their first win of the season in their only exhibition game against Northwood Wednesday night. Our Alex Hines has the takeaways.
Indiana got the win in their first exhibition game against Indianapolis 74-52, but it was dicey in the first half, with the Hoosiers going into break trailing the D2 team.
Thought we were a little tight, man. Guys not really familiar the first time, playing in front of a crowd. And I'm not using that as an excuse. How we missed so many layups around our bigs around the rim, and then we couldn't make free throws.
That first half that we played was probably the best thing that could have happened to us coming out as our first game. Knowing that we need to play basketball to the best of our ability against everybody. We need to play as hard as we can against everybody.
One point of emphasis for this year's team is getting out in transition. IU put up 28 fast break points this afternoon.
Our bigs can push it, but whoever's pushing it, we have to get ahead of the ball and and then make the passes up the floor. I just don't want to live in a half-court game this season, and I think we got enough talent out there that guys can, make plays. I don't put a lot of emphasis on it. I mean, if we got them, you got to take them. I mean, I'm not telling guys to pass up the three-point shot.
Assembly Hall, I'm Josh Bodie, IUSTV Sports.
Indiana women's basketball kicked off their 2023-24 season with an 111-68 exhibition win over Division II Northwood. All 12 players got minutes for the Hoosiers, including an Assembly Hall welcome for the new-coming class.
We intentionally started putting some of those young kids in there to play with some of the vets because we knew there would be some, not just anticipation, but some butterflies, which we expected. And we wanted our vets to kind of help those guys, get settled in. Tonight was a big night for them to be able to play in front of Hoosier Nation and with fans in the stands. And they're pleasers, they're workers.
For returners like Sarah Scallion, the game offered a chance to build confidence into the new season. The sharpshooter laced 5 threes on her way to 17 points.
Yeah, I think it was really important just as a shooter, obviously to see your first couple go down is really big. And yeah, just continuously trying to work in the game and work on hitting the game shots.
We know this about her. She is lethal. She is lethal. She can cause problems for the defense. I just want her to do what all great shooters do. When in doubt, shoot it. Always be in doubt.
From Assembly Hall, Alex Hines, IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers will begin regular season action on November 9th against Eastern Illinois at 7 p.m.
And the Indiana men's golf team closed out their fall season finishing 10th in the Steelwood Collegiate Invitational. Some standout performer for the Hoosiers, Noah Gillard shot 2 over par while converting 14 birdies on his way to tying for 20th. Senior Drew Salyers notched a couple of eagles as he shot 3 over par, tying for 26th. Freshman Cole Starnes shot 4 over par, leaving him tied for 31st. And the Hoosiers will have some time off before starting their spring season in February.
Joining us now in studio with the Candy Stripe Calendar report is IUSTV sports reporter Ryan Rosenthal. Ryan?
Thanks, Olivia. It's a great weekend to be a Hoosier sports fan. To kick things off, the Indiana men's basketball team will play host to Marian University on Friday in an exhibition at Assembly Hall for the final tune-up before their highly anticipated season debut against Florida Gulf Coast next Tuesday. Then, we will see the first of back-to-back Hoosier-Badger clashes on the pitch Friday night as IU welcomes Wisconsin into town for the first round of the single elimination knockout stage of the men's Big Ten soccer tournament. It has all led to this for the 1-seed Hoosiers. And finally, Saturday at noon, the 5-3 Badger football team will come into Memorial Stadium to take on the 2-6 Hoosiers, who are still looking for their first conference win this season. Should be a good one. That's all for this weekend in Hoosier Sports. Now back to you guys at the desk.
And that's our show for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all the latest in IU athletics. For our production crew behind us, I'm Olivia Stone.
And I'm William Stewart. We'll see you all next week.